Chapter 1. Sleepy's Donut Dream. In the middle of a big, leafy jungle, in a tree that swayed gently in the breeze, lived a very sleepy sloth named Sleepy. Sleepy was extra good at two things: taking long, slow naps, daydreaming about donuts. Oh, how he loved donuts! He loved thinking about them, imagining their soft, fluffy centers and the way the sprinkles sparkled in the sun. He had never actually tasted one before, but he just knew they were the most delicious thing in the world. And lucky for Sleepy, there was a café right below his tree. Every day, tourists came to eat breakfast, sipping warm drinks and chatting about their big adventures. And every day, Sleepy watched, hoping, wishing that maybe, just maybe, someone would leave a donut behind. But there was one tiny, little, not-so-small problem. Sleepy was a sloth. And if there was one thing sloths were not good at, it was moving fast. Whenever he spotted a donut left on a plate, he would stretch out his paw, reach, and swoosh! The cafe server would clear the plate away before he even got close. Sleepy sighed. Too slow. Again. He watched as a boy at one table licked pink frosting off his fingers. A woman at another table took a big bite of a chocolate-glazed donut, and a little girl giggled as she twirled her donut on her finger before taking a nibble. Sleepy's tummy rumbled. Maybe today will be the day, he whispered to himself. Maybe today I'll finally get a donut. And with that, he hatched a plan. Tomorrow, he wouldn't just wish for a donut. Tomorrow, he would get one, even if he had to get a little help. Chapter 2. A sweet plan, with a few bumps. The next morning, Sleepy yawned, stretched, and blinked his big sleepy eyes. Today was the day of the donut, but he knew he couldn't do it alone, so he called for his fastest and cleverest friends. First came Chico the monkey, swinging through the branches with a big, goofy grin. "Sleepy buddy, you called? I was just about to launch some mangoes at the tourists for fun." Sleepy blinked slowly. "Maybe? Don't do that." Next, Pepa the parrot fluttered down, her bright feathers shimmering in the sunlight. "What's the mission, Sleepy? Do we need to distract a jaguar? Steal a shiny thing? Oh, is it a treasure hunt? I love treasure hunts." Sleepy shook his head. "No treasure. Donuts. I need help getting one from the cafe." Chico gasped. "A donut? Oh, that's serious." Pepa nodded. "Very serious, super serious, extra sprinkles serious." Sleepy explained the plan. Chico, with his super fast hands, would grab a donut from a table. Pepa, with her loud squawking, would distract the servers. And Sleepy would just try to keep up. It was a perfect plan. Or so they thought. The attempt. Chico swung down first. He spotted a plate with a round golden treat and snatched it up. He grinned, holding it up like a trophy. "I got it! I got the..." He looked at the thing in his hand. "Wait a second. This isn't a donut." Pepa squawked. "That's a bagel, you banana brain." Chico made a face. "Ew, bagels are just boring donuts." He tossed it aside. Sleepy groaned. "Try again, but faster." Meanwhile, Pepa dove toward the cafe, flapping her wings and shrieking, "Squawk! There's a snake under the table!" Everybody run. The tourists screamed. The servers jumped. The cafe manager nearly spilled a whole tray of coffee. It was pure chaos. Chico saw his chance. He swung down, grabbed another pastry, and tossed it up to Sleepy. Sleepy reached out, slowly, caught it, and plunk! It landed on his head. Sleepy sighed and peeled it off. "Chico, this is a croissant." Chico scratched his head. "Oops, my bad." Just then, a very angry cafe manager stomped outside, shaking his fist. "Hey, no monkey business in my cafe!" "Oh," Pepa muttered. Chico shrieked. Sleepy froze, and the three friends scrambled back into the trees. Still no donut. Sleepy sighed, flopping onto his branch. That did not go as planned. Chico patted his shoulder. "Yeah, but at least you got a croissant. That's kind of like a donut, right?" Sleepy stared at the croissant. It was not like a donut. Not at all. Chapter 3. A surprise from a kind kid. Sleepy sat in his tree, watching the cafe below. His plan had failed. No donut, no sprinkles, not even a crumb. His tummy let out a long, grumbly growl. Chico and Pepa sat beside him, looking just as disappointed. "Sorry, buddy," Chico said, picking at a leaf. "I really thought I could grab one." "I thought my distraction was perfect," Pepa sighed. "Maybe I should have yelled free cookies instead." Sleepy just sighed. Maybe it was time to give up. Maybe sloths weren't meant for donuts. Maybe donuts were only for fast animals, like monkeys, or parrots, or cafe servers with their super speedy plate-clearing skills. He was just about to crawl into his favorite napping spot when, "Look," Pepa whispered, nudging him with her wing. "That little girl is looking at you." Sleepy blinked slowly and peered down at the cafe. A little girl about 6 years old was staring up at him from her seat. She had big, bright eyes and a half-eaten donut in her hand, a pink frosted donut with sprinkles. Sleepy froze. He held his breath. The little girl smiled. "Hi, Mr. Sloth," she said in a soft, sweet voice. "Are you hungry?" Sleepy nodded very slowly. She giggled. "You look like you want my donut." Sleepy nodded again, even slower. The little girl thought for a moment, then held up her donut. "You can have it." Sleepy's eyes widened. "Really?" he whispered. The little girl nodded and carefully placed the donut on the ground near the tree trunk. Then she smiled up at him again. "Enjoy, Mr. Sloth." Sleepy couldn't believe it. He climbed down slowly and carefully and picked up the donut. It felt soft and warm in his paws. The frosting sparkled in the sunlight. He took a bite, and in that moment, it was everything he had ever dreamed of. Sweet, fluffy, perfect. His whole body melted with happiness. Pepa did a loop-the-loop in the air. "Woohoo! The donut dream came true!" Chico clapped his hands. "That kid is the real hero!" Sleepy sighed with joy. "The best donut ever!" He looked up at the little girl and gave her the slowest, happiest sloth smile. She waved goodbye and ran off with her family, and that's when Sleepy had an idea. Maybe, just maybe, he didn't need to steal a donut. Maybe the kindest way to get one was to make friends with the kids. Chapter 4, The Best Way to Get Donuts. Sleepy licked the last bit of frosting from his paw and let out a happy sigh. That pink frosted donut had been the most delicious thing in the world. He stretched out his arms, feeling extra relaxed. His belly was full, the sun was warm, and best of all, he had finally gotten his donut. And he hadn't even needed a crazy plan to get it. No sneaky monkey hands, no flapping parrot distractions, no falling croissants on his head. Just one little girl who had been kind enough to share. He thought about all the other kids that came to the cafe, sitting with their families, munching on tasty breakfast. Kids always had donuts. Kids were also really nice. Sleepy scratched his fuzzy chin. "Maybe," he said slowly, "instead of trying to steal a donut, I should just be cute and friendly and let the kids give me one." Chico gasped. "Sleepy, that's brilliant." Pepa fluffed her feathers. "Way easier than our disaster of a plan." Sleepy nodded. "Way easier." So the next morning, instead of sneaking and scrambling, Sleepy sat in his tree, right where the kids could see him, and gave them his biggest, sleepiest, friendliest sloth smile. And guess what? It worked. One little boy pointed up and gasped, "Look, Mom, a sloth!" A girl giggled and said, "Oh, he looks hungry!" And before long, a tiny plate was placed near the tree, with a donut on it. Sleepy grinned as he slowly climbed down and took a bite. Pepa whistled. "Look at that! You're a celebrity now!" Chico laughed. "Forget swiping food. You've got VIP donut service." Sleepy chewed happily. The best kind of service." Chapter 5, Sleepy's Sweetest Dreams. As the sun dipped low in the sky, turning the jungle golden and warm, Sleepy let out a long, happy yawn. It had been the best day ever. Not only had he finally gotten a real delicious sprinkle-covered donut, but now every morning the kind kids who visited the cafe left one just for him. But sigh. No more chasing plates, no more swooping parrots, no more accidental bagels, just sweet, slow, slothy success. Sleepy stretched out on his branch, his belly full and happy. He could still taste the last bit of frosting on his tongue. Pepa fluffed her feathers and landed beside him. "So what's next, Sleepy? Gonna try for a cupcake tomorrow?" Chico gasped dramatically. "Or a cinnamon roll? Oh, a chocolate croissant? I can grab one super fast." Sleepy chuckled softly. "No need, Chico. The donuts will come to me now." Chico shook his head in amazement. "I gotta admit, Sleepy, I never thought being slow could be a superpower, but you proved me wrong." Sleepy smiled his slowest, happiest smile. The jungle rustled gently in the evening breeze. The cafe lights twinkled below as the last few tourists finished their meals. A little girl giggled as she peeked up at Sleepy, setting one final donut on the plate beneath his tree. Sleepy sighed with joy. "Tomorrow," he murmured as his eyes drifted closed. "Maybe a cinnamon one." And with that, Sleepy curled up into a fuzzy little ball and fell into the sweetest, happiest, donut-filled dreams. The end.